Buried Deep has to be one of the most frustrating maps I've ever played. I'm frustrated because I really want to like this map as a whole. I believe this is one of, if not the best map on the workshop for the first 3 chapters. The last 2 chapters of this campaign just gets me so... This map is so close to being the best campaign in the workshop, but it just misses the mark at the end. I can already see people in the comments saying,
"It's a skill issue?"
Keep in mind, I was playing this map on Realism Expert, and this time, I didn't have 8 survivors to keep me company, nor did I have plugins enabled. The only thing I had was my bot add-ons, and I think that's fair, seeing as how I'm playing a custom map. Damn, man. Let me explain why I think this Left 4 Dead 2 map is so close to perfection. Buried Deep has the best starting level compared to any other custom map I've ever played. Even better than some official campaigns. I'm looking at you, Parrish. The story of Buried Deep is very simple. The APC that rescued the survivors in Blood Harvest has taken them to a military research complex in West Virginia. After staying here for 3 days, there was a breach in the complex and an invasion of infected swept through the whole facility. Bill, for the safety of his companions, decided it was best to stay low until the invasion was over. After about a week, the survivors decide to head out and find a way to escape, initiating the start of the campaign. I like the story. Simple, effective, and clean. You could argue that the story is too simple, but in a custom map, I'm not looking for a good story. I'm looking for a map that will respect the player!
Yeah, show some respect.
You gotta respect.
In the starting room, you could see beds and food here. Nice attention to detail that complements the story. Opening this door leads to a linear set path. We go up a ladder and some stairs to reach an open area, and then I somehow get boomed on here. After clearing the horde, we explore this big open space that rewards you if you get curious. Some people can get lost on where to go here because of how dark it is. We are supposed to go up this ladder that has a safe house sign, and the survivors even... I just killed a fly. And the survivors even have a voice line to let you know that you are on the right path. After going up another set of stairs, we end up in maintenance access. This section is another linear set path. I feel like Left 4 Dead's gameplay is strongest when there is linear level design. So I'm glad that this map is making use of it. As I continue playing this map, I'm starting to realize just how detailed and cohesive this map is. Almost every room and every corner has something interesting about it, like this room. There are many beds in here, which signifies that other survivors have taken shelter in this facility. The map layout feels like a real and believable location. I point blank shoot Francis in the back of his head, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't think anybody will be alright in a second if they were shot from a shotgun at point blank range. Yeah, just eat your pills. That'll stop the pain. More linear level design, bang bang bang, and oh my god, is that a female boomer? You guys might not know about this, but most custom maps out there have the female boomer disabled for some reason. I'm glad that this map is shedding some light on this boomer. We come across this closed gate, and the only way forward is to open it. This is the first of many holdout sections. This one is very easy if you have a shotgun and if you're smart. This gas can right here can be used to clear out most of the horde, making this holdout easy peasy lemon squeezy. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. After the horde is over, we move on to our next destination. So far, we haven't fought any boss zombies, no tanks or witches. The pacing has been perfect. The map creator has given us time to take in the level design and the atmosphere. If he was throwing tanks at us, I wouldn't have the time to take in the map's abundance of detail. Something that Hometown definitely... So far, this has been an enjoyable experience, even on Realism Expert. There isn't much else to say here. More linear level design with very detailed aesthetics and a high reward for exploration. Honestly, this is top-notch level design that is competing with the official campaigns. Well, I guess it makes sense. The map creator has had 12 years of level design experience. After about 13 minutes, I finally made it to the end of the level. As you can see, this is another holdout section, except this time, it is cranked up to an insane degree. There is an onslaught of special infected and commons that will overrun you if you aren't prepared. What we need to do is hold out until the gate is fully open. We are given 2 mounted guns, pills, special ammo, and grenades to deal with the onslaught of zombies. There are also some barrels that you could shoot. And I don't know if it's just me, but the mounted guns here feel buffed. They feel more powerful, but it could just be me. This has got to be one of the most well-designed holdouts I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong, there is an insane amount of zombies that are thrown at you here, and most people probably get killed here. But the map creator gave us the resources necessary to beat it. I managed to complete this level on Realism Expert with bots and no deaths. If I can do it like this, you can do it. I don't have to warp the bots over a jump they can't make. I don't need to look for exploits to beat the map. I just have to play smart and control the horde with the resources I have. That is what I call good level design and difficulty. Once you complete the holdout, the music ends and you can just see the carnage that just erupted. Look at all of the bodies on the ground. That, my friends, is immersion. And the safe house is right there. I'm gonna give the first chapter a 10 out of 10. Perfect pacing, great level design, and a very heavy atmosphere. The map is difficult, but in a really fair and fun way. I clocked in at 17 minutes for this chapter. That is 8 times longer than the parish's first chapter. And guess what? This is the shortest chapter in the whole campaign. Off to a really good start. Let's keep the momentum going, shall we? Chapter 2 is way more eventful than the last. It starts out simple with more linear corridors. We fight our way through the facility, killing zombies and scavenging supplies until we find this manhole with a ladder. I climb down it and we find this barricaded door along with a message saying, "Don't open, haunted place." But the survivors don't care, and it's not like there is anywhere else to go. After breaking down the barricade, the door opens and reveals a silhouette of a zombie. I know this is meant to be creepy, but I just can't take the common infected seriously anymore. Still though, this is a good scene and it foreshadows what is to come. We head underground and break this barricade to enter the haunted place of this military complex. I think the map creator does a good enough job to convey the horror he wants to display here. These tunnels are mostly empty, the lights flicker, and the ambience really complement the horror vibe the map is going for here. It does a good job. We find the door with the safe house icon, and when we open it and go through, the first thing I see is another door covered in blood and with a red light. Red lights mean danger, but it's the only way forward. This screenshot has the potential to give you the feeling of dread. Opening this door, however, will lead you to another room full of beds. This probably conveys that there were people hiding in the underground tunnels from the infected, but it wasn't long before something killed them. Whether it was the zombies or some other entity entirely, we may never know. This entire section is horror themed and I love it. It's a nice change of pace. There are some more creepy moments scattered around in this section. We go through tunnels, jump down holes, and discover some weird areas. I'm not gonna lie, some of these areas look out of place, like this tiny little corridor. Why is there just a random piano there and a random phone? Remember, we're still in a military research complex. I find it weird that there are these random locations underneath it. My theory is that the survivors could be hallucinating in this entire section, seeing as how there are many surreal occurrences in this section. Once you make it to the end, you find a safe house door, but upon interacting with it, the entire wall goes back and disappears. This proves that the survivors are hallucinating in this entire underground section. Maybe there is some Man of Medan mist in these underground tunnels?
Yeah, you breathed in the mist! It's happening. I can feel it!
After interacting with that safe house door, we make it to the end of this section. In order to escape, we have to take this elevator. Upon interacting with it, a siren plays, and the lights go out. A horde of zombies and special infected will overrun you. I actually ended up dying here, and then I died again. Maybe the third time's the charm? No. There actually was a tank that spawned this time.
It's a skill issue?
On my fourth attempt, I managed to beat this by throwing a battle jar very far away to buy us time for the elevator to get here. After the battle jars expired, I pulled out a Molotov and cleared the entire horde while killing the special infected that were flanking us. This holdout is way harder than the last, but it's definitely possible. The map creator gives you ammo, gas cans, and either a medkit or a defib. If you do end up dying here, all you really need to do is save your grenades for this part. It's really not that difficult unless a tank spawns in. If a tank does spawn in, I would light him on fire and kite him around the tunnels until he dies. Once the elevator arrives, the survivors call out to let you know that it's here. Upon entering, you see a strange entity. Wow. Maybe that was the entity that killed the people that were down here, and maybe he was causing the survivors to hallucinate. It is a satisfying feeling to exit that elevator and re-enter the facility. For the rest of this chapter, it is the same linear level design that was present in chapter 1, so there isn't anything too interesting to talk about here. One very cool moment is when you enter this area, and if you look on the other side, you can see where you once were at the beginning of this chapter. That's a pretty cool way to show the player their progression through the level. Finally, we make it to the safe house, clocking this chapter in at 20 minutes. Holy shit. These two chapters alone make up most of the official campaigns. This is one of the longest custom maps I've ever played. I honestly don't see that as a bad thing though. Sure, it can be annoying to have to restart the whole level if you die, but the length of this campaign just makes it even more satisfying to complete it, in my opinion. I give this chapter a 9 out of 10. Now, it's time to move on to the controversial part of this campaign. Chapter 3. Oh boy, Chapter 3. When I look in the comments for this map, I mostly see people complaining about the holdout section in Chapter 3. This level starts out simple and easy. We approach this door full of blood. After opening it, we are greeted by a tank. After killing him, we enter this giant arena with mounted guns and a lot of supplies. I'm sure you can all assume what is about to transpire. That's right, another holdout event. But first, we have to turn on the main power. After turning it on, we have to go back to the other side and open the elevator gate. Once that's done, we can hit this button to begin the holdout. Doing all of that takes about 8 minutes. This panic event lasts a total of 3 minutes. And during that entire 3 minutes, there is a constant onslaught of special infected and common infected. I know 3 minutes doesn't sound like a lot of time, but trust me, it is. There are no breaks in between. You just have to keep shooting and surviving. This holdout is so difficult because of the amount of special infected, specifically the spitters. They will just keep spitting at you over and over and over and over again, which basically means you can't stay in one spot for too long. Jockeys blend in with the horde, chargers will just run you over, smokers will pull you into the horde, hunters will also blend in with the horde, and boomers actually help you because their explosion knocks back infected. By the time you're done with this holdout, you would have killed at least 30 special infected. 30 special infected in 3 minutes.
You think this is funny?
That is a lot, and maybe even a bit too difficult for the casual player. This might sound controversial when I say this, but I believe this holdout is fair and balanced, even on expert realism. Yes, it is very difficult, and those goddamn spitters will drive you insane. However, I could beat this holdout without exploiting or cheating. I could beat this holdout without having anyone dying. I could beat this holdout without 8 survivors. I just proved it here. If you play it smart, this holdout isn't too bad. Use the gas cans, mounted guns, and grenades. You'll be fine. Besides, they don't throw any tanks at you during this holdout. If they did, that'd be a different story. Thankfully, the map creator understands that the tank should be used sparingly and not overused like 70% of custom maps out there.
I
But I will say this about this holdout. It is probably not possible to get through it without anyone taking damage, unless you are playing with other people. As you can see here, we took a lot of damage. We pretty much lost all of our supplies. And for my first try, I think I did okay. And you guys should too, if you even bothered playing this map in the first place. The elevator that we called jams, and we are forced to run up the elevator shaft. Damn, the survivors must have some strong legs, because running up something like this does not look easy. There is a witch up ahead, and I just light her on fire, no big deal. Once we make it to the top, we have to open that door by going into the control room. After opening the door, we continue through the facility with more linear segments. The map doesn't throw any more surprise punches at you. It understands its limits and the holdout event it made you endure. Now it's just a straight line to the safe house. The only surprise punch you can get is a random tank spawn or witch. Other than that, the rest of this level is the same linear gameplay you saw in the last 2 chapters. I did actually get a second witch to spawn, and I had to take her out with fire as well. Eventually, the survivors finally make it out of the military complex and onto this railroad. A charger and boomer almost killed us here, and for a second, I thought it was game over, until Lewis actually decided to shoot the charger while he was down. Thank God. If I failed here, I would have to do the whole level all over again, and this whole chapter took me 22 minutes to complete. God damn! This single level alone is longer than most custom maps. Thank you, Lewis. You see, sometimes the bots aren't all that bad. We make it to the safe house with no medkits to spare, and everyone in red health. This is one of the hardest chapters in this whole campaign, and trust me when I say that this one is not even close in difficulty compared to the next chapter. For most people, this chapter is the one that makes or breaks their playtime of this campaign. And after playing this chapter on expert realism, without 8 survivors, without anyone dying, killing 2 witches and a tank, I can safely say that this chapter does not need to change in difficulty. This is a great example of a difficult map that is fair and respects the player. If the map didn't respect the player, who would even bother playing the map? I'll give you a hint, not many people. That's why it's so important for map creators to respect the people who play the map.
So if you want to have it, just shut up! Shut up!
I know I've said that word a lot already in the last video, but it's just so true. This is why playtesting is so important for game development and maps. Believe me when I say that completing this chapter is one of the most satisfying things I've ever done in Left 4 Dead. I give this chapter an 8 out of 10. And now, my praises of this map will completely stop. Why? Because the next 2 chapters go against everything I have been praising this map for so far. This map has been incredibly difficult, but also incredibly fair to even the expert players. But unfortunately, that fairness is tossed out the window in chapter 4 and 5. I just want to let you all know that I could not beat chapter 4 and 5 on my own. I had to call in some backup.
Oh, hell no.
It's a skill issue?
Trust me, I really tried to beat chapter 4 on my own. If you don't believe me, just look at these stats. Oh my god.
Don't you know who I am? And walk a path no other can take. No!
What does this tell you? This should maybe let you know that this chapter went a little bit overboard with the difficulty. And when I say a little bit, I mean a fucking lot. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. After opening the safe house door, we go up this ladder and down into this area. We have to call an elevator and survive another holdout until the elevator arrives. The elevator arrives quickly, so this isn't so bad. What is bad though, is what comes after this. The survivors arrive on this very long road in this very wide open space. We just straight up get killed by the sheer amount of common infected and a tank. Unlucky, so I just tried again. This time, Lewis ends up dying at the elevator because he decided not to move, so I just end up restarting again. Finally, I managed to make it to the long road again. This whole section takes a step away from the linear format that I was used to. I'm totally fine with that, but the way it's handled here makes it so frustrating to play. Look at how dark it is, and look at the amount of foliage in the way. It's not even that it's difficult, it's just not fun, and not a fun environment to play in. Oh, come on, I didn't even know where he was coming from. You see, this is what I mean. Try to get through this part without getting hit. I'd like to see footage of someone doing that. There are some landmarks in this open space, and the map rewards you for exploring, but it's almost not even worth it because we just keep getting hit from common infected left and right. You can actually go behind the building you came out of and get some supplies there, but the reward is not worth the hassle. Don't forget the special infected and the random hordes. Since the area is so open, you are an easy target for common infected. You get swarmed so easily, and there isn't anything you can really do about it. Along the road are some landmarks, but these areas are small and have little to them. There are only 4 landmarks in total. This small area with a white light, a yellow garage, this area, and finally a small building. I would have added a bit more to this whole area to make it a bit more interesting. Like maybe a campfire or a crashed car, a fallen tree, just something more than just a long empty road. It's boring and not fun to play in. I like to compare this road to Death Toll's road. In Death Toll, you can actually see, and there are signposts to let you know you are on the right track to Riverside. There is a crashed bus here along with the body. Exploring this little room rewards you, and it barely takes you off the main path. This is how you design non-linear areas. We have to follow this long road until we reach a blockade. The only way forward is to shoot the gas cans and destroy the barricade that leads into another bunker-like building. Upon shooting the gas can, a panic event starts, and then we are totally f***ed. We are completely out in the open and are forced to fight an incoming horde. There aren't any strategies here. I just threw grenades and used the melee to protect the bots and control the horde. It's not easy, and this section is not well designed in my opinion. You can't see, you are out in the open, and you don't have a lot of options. The common infected's best friend is an open space. I'll say it again. The common infected's best friend is an open space. Their AI, they swarm you. Despite all of that, I wouldn't have a problem with this panic event if it didn't send like 150 zombies. There is no shot you can get past this without anyone getting hit. After the panic event is over, we move into the bunker-like building. This next area is pretty cool, and it looks like something totally different than anything we've seen in the campaign so far. This whole area has a very specific architecture, and is like a maze. Some walls are moving on their own, and this time, the survivors are not hallucinating. Maybe the walls are moving because of the zombies in the maze? Unfortunately, the map has decided to constantly send small hordes every 30 seconds, so I can't really take in this whole new area without having a zombie in my face every second. We are slowly but surely losing our health and supplies because of all of these zombies. No, god damn it! Well, there goes Bill. Yeah, this doesn't look good, does it? Come on, save me, bots, come on. No! Wow. Well, time to do the whole chapter all over again. Okay, I finally made it back to where I was. Oh, never mind, I guess we're just gonna die because the map just isn't letting up with these small hordes every 5 seconds. What is this? There is nothing I hate more than just a random and unpredictable horde of zombies around every single corner. So far, the map has just been sending more and more and more and more without stopping. When is enough enough? The reason why that was okay in the last 3 chapters was because of the design. You had options in those chapters, unlike here, where you just have to struggle. There aren't even enough supplies here to justify the amount of zombies. Finally, on my 5th attempt, I made it to the end of this area, and you guessed it, there is another holdout event. This is the last holdout, and definitely the hardest of them all. You get 0 supplies for this holdout. That's right, nada. Nothing. Not even ammo. Sure, you got ammo beforehand, but by now you've probably run out because of the constant random hordes. Let's count the amount of holdout events in the whole campaign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 holdout events. I got no problem with holding out. I just wish the map creator would do something different. There hasn't been a single crescendo event in this campaign. As much as I hate crescendo events, I would have rather had one of those instead of another holdout. In this holdout, you have to wait until every door opens. Whenever one opens, you could fall back into a better position to fight the zombies. I tried to take a gas can and kill the horde, but there were 2 smokers and a spitter that just pulled the bots into the fire. I got so annoyed I ended up whooping the bots back, but it didn't matter. We ended up dying anyway. I remember being very frustrated here. I tried again, and this time we had absolutely nothing to get past this holdout. I'm sure you can imagine how this run went down. From this point on, I stopped recording because of how much space it was taking up. Every single failed attempt was a whole 20 minutes. I have a total of 101 gigabytes for one custom map.
Jesus Christ.
After, I shit you not, 24 restarts and 6 hours of playing, I could not go on anymore. I kept dying at the same holdout over and over and over and over and over. The closest I got was the clip with the gas can. I was ready to call it quits, but I didn't want to lose the stats. So I changed the difficulty to easy and completed the rest of the campaign. These were the stats of my first playthrough of Buried Deep. Slow down the video if you want to see everything. I took a step back and decided that I needed help. And no, I'm not talking about cheats. I'm not talking about 8 survivors. I'm talking about another human being. Epicake. I'm sure you know his voice from his nonsense videos. I didn't want to give up completing this campaign on Realism Expert, so I went back and attempted chapter 4 with Epicake. Oh wow, look at that. We completed it on the first try. That's how much of a difference one person can make. After the holdout is over, it's just a straight shot to the safe house.
Trying to do that melee trick?
This jockey, however, had other plans and almost killed everybody.
What the hell's going on here?
But it wasn't enough to stop us from reaching the safe house. I've got to say this up front. What happened here? This chapter is just not fun to play. And it's not fair with its level design. Wide open space after wide open space without anything too interesting about it. The only interesting thing in this chapter is the maze with the moving walls. There is absolutely no downtime in this chapter either. The pacing is just constant action while running through an open space. This chapter is a 5 out of 10. Uninteresting design and blatantly unfair holdout events even on advanced difficulty. Still better than Hometown though. This chapter was a nightmare to complete on Realism Expert. It's possible with a friend, but beating it by yourself definitely will involve some luck. And guess what? If you thought this was hard, just wait until you see chapter 5.
You can probably kill me.
We finally made it to the final chapter. The one I've been wanting to talk about this whole time. I realize now this video has been going on for quite a while. So let's cut to the chase. The first section of this chapter is very good. Standard linear gameplay. The section when you go outside is kinda meh. My complaint is the goddamn mudman when there is no mud.
Mudman? Where's the mud?
This is as dry as land gets, so why are there mudmen? Whatever, it's only a small section, so I don't care. Here we are, the finale. What we have to do is fill up this truck with 20 gas cans. 20? That's a lot, but no problem, right? Wrong! This scavenge finale is similar to Dead Center. A constant onslaught of hordes and tank every 2 minutes. Except in this map, there are no breaks in between hordes, and for reasons currently unknown to man, on expert difficulty and expert difficulty alone, there are 2 tanks at a time instead of 1. And those 2 tanks aren't alone. They have 1 special infected and at least 10 common infected to back them up. I know the exact numbers because we were attempting this finale for over 3 hours. Imagine if I was doing this finale alone. Wait a second. Wouldn't it make more sense if there were 2 tanks on the other difficulties and 1 tank on expert? Remember, only on expert there are 2 tanks. I think that's why this pisses me off so much. On the bright side, as long as one of those tanks are alive, the game won't change phases, so we'll have less common infected and special infected to deal with. So the strategy we came up with to beat this finale was to rush. We threw bell jars and split up to bring all of the gas cans to the middle as fast as possible. Ideally, we'd have all of the gas cans in the middle before the tanks spawn in. If we manage to do that, one person has to pour the gas cans and the other has to distract the tanks. This is the literal definition of easier said than done. We have to get lucky enough to even get 2 bottle jars in the first place. Otherwise, the run is over. While we are split up getting the gas cans, there is a very high chance for one of us to get grabbed because of how dark the map is. If we get grabbed at all, the run is over unless the bots rescue us. While we are attempting to pour the gas, the tanks can be annoying because they don't want to follow you and instead choose to target the person inserting the gas. Remember, there is a constant stream of common infected during all of this. It's not easy. After 13 attempts, with a stroke of luck, we do a perfect run of the finale.
That is one of the worst designed finales I've ever seen.
You know what? At least I didn't have to exploit the map or use 8 survivors. I had to work with my teammate to complete a nearly impossible challenge, and we did it. I'm not saying this finale is good design, I'm just saying that I didn't have to cheat in any way. Still though, I shouldn't have to play perfectly and bring along a friend just to beat a map. Please God, don't tell me to play on other difficulties. I enjoy playing on expert, so let me play on expert. Once all of the gas cans were delivered, the survivors drove through a gate to safety, though I don't think they'll be finding any safety anytime soon. I give this chapter a 4 out of 10, only because I thought the beginning of this chapter was decent. If it was just the finale, I would give it a 2 out of 10, maybe even a 1. That might sound harsh, but it's honestly how I feel about it. On other difficulties, it's probably higher than that, but I'm rating this campaign on expert. So on expert difficulty, this chapter is a 4 out of 10. I can already see the comments down below.
It's a skill issue. It's a skill issue. It's a skill issue.
Oh wait, this guy was joking. It's not the map's fault, it's yours! Let's draw a line when it comes to difficulty, shall we? There is very difficult, and then there is nearly impossible. But the finale, I refuse to believe that is possible without any help. Look, I know, not every map is going to be designed for expert realism. I realize that a majority of the Left 4 Dead fanbase aren't looking for an extreme challenge on expert difficulty. They just want a well-designed and fun custom map. I will admit, I am not a casual Left 4 Dead player. In fact, I would even call myself hardcore. I just judged this map on an unrealistic difficulty setting, and despite that, this map was still great to play. On normal difficulty, this campaign would be a 10 out of 10. On expert difficulty, this campaign is a 7 out of 10. Despite those last 2 chapters being a nightmare to complete, I could still say some good things about them. I never once encountered any glitches or bugs, and this map's optimization was very good. I never crashed or had any frame drops. Overall, this campaign offers a very high and fun challenge. I wish I could say that I'd recommend this campaign to all kinds of players, but I just can't. If you enjoy playing expert like me, I can't guarantee that you will have a good time once you reach chapter 4 and 5. If those last 2 chapters were fixed, I can officially say that this custom map is the best map I've ever played, and that is why this custom map is so close to perfection. Let me know what you think. Were those last 2 chapters fair? Was I too harsh? Were the first 3 chapters as good as I said they were? I'll be reading every comment that you leave. Thanks for watching. And map creator, if you're watching this, don't take anything personally.